Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. And we've got the Andrew Thomas interview. Wow. This has been in the works for a while. I'm glad that we decided to do it in person because we were supposed to do a charity event. It ended up getting canceled. So I would have literally came up here for no reason, but it ended up working out. Had a really cool interview with Andrew Thomas, which about 25 minutes. We'll get to that in a second. But it was definitely cool. And we're going to talk about two of the new undrafted free agents, Ryder Anderson and Jordan Mosley, who were signed from rookie camp, and a couple of their talking points out of rookie camp. Justin, man, it felt good to finally get that Thomas interview done because we kind of knew it was going to happen for a long time.
Bobby Skinner, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this. I kind of like doing things that are different from everybody else, and especially in the slowest of times of the year. Now, still coming off the draft, but this is still like the start of the slow period. And I love that we're putting something out, and I'm really, really pumped that we're putting something out that's exciting that everybody's going to see.
Yeah, and it's one of those moments for there's always moments for Talking Giants, and I know people want us to get right to the interview, but there's always moments for Talking Giants, and this was like we knew this is going to be a moment for our listeners.
Absolutely.
So we're definitely happy to enjoy it. And we were really worried. It was actually a good interview. I was worried that he's a quiet guy and he'd kind of treat you like a press conference. Or
we also did it in a van.
Yeah, we did it in a van. So
it was kind of weird.
Might be a little awkward. We had never talked. We had talked before, but never talked in person. But no, he was very personal.
Very cool guy. Yeah.
It was a good time. So,
and also, I love when you talk to people and it's like, oh, that's kind of like how I expected you to be. I mean, he's still like a down to earth guy. If he was too enthusiastic and if he was too energetic, that'd be like, oh, this isn't really who I kind of thought that you were. But it was exactly like AT's the kind of guy, he is the kind of guy that he presents himself to be.
And let's not bury the lead with it. He's the best player on the New York Giants.
Yeah, he is.
We did our first in-person interviews with the best player. We could have done in-person interviews before, but it was like, man, this is the best player on the Giants. Let's do this. Let's try and do this in person. And then we had the van down by the river. I am a little we recorded in a van. Mr. Brownstone made a really nice edit. I won't say what it was, but
now we're here on a casting couch.
Yeah, we're on a couch in a hotel.
This is part of our brand. Snacks and I in Massachusetts, we were on a casting couch. So this is just ultimately part of our brand now. A lot of our in-person stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
just gives off porno vibes.
Yeah, we're in the elevator with some guy, and we have a bunch of lighting and cameras.
Oh, I felt weird.
Oh
man, I felt weird. We had a camera. Like a briefcase just full of things that it could be anything. Yeah, I felt kind of funky, but totally worth it. Totally fun. Andrew Thomas is a really cool guy. Also, we didn't talk about this in the interview, but he pulled up in a truck, black Dodge Ram.
Beastly truck.
Oh my gosh, and I'm a sucker for anything that's kind of like Chrysler built, and especially if it's got a Hemi engine in it. And I was like, oh, yeah. It's like, did you make any customizations to that truck? And I said, well, you got it. And he's like, no. So I said, oh, what you got to do is put a supercharger in it. He's like, oh, no, it has a supercharger. I'm like, oh, so you just bought a truck with the supercharger in it, which is it just was like baller. So it's awesome.
No, he was definitely fun with us. Yeah. The only time he wasn't was when I was like, hey, we have the same birthday? And he's like, that's.
Yeah.
He had no reaction to that.
Cool.
So we'll kick it to the interview. First, the reason these interviews are possible is because of some special people. We got Jamison Renfro, who is he's a mix of Jameson Williams and Hunter Renfro.
Hunter Renfro, yeah.
Very opposite wide receivers. Trent Grunza. I've never seen that last name before, Grunza. Robbie Scola, Luis Scola's brother. Played with the Nets at one point. And then Scott Peter. My brother's middle name is Scott. Jason Scott Skinner, if you need to look him up in the database. Justin, who are these people?
Patreon.com/TalkingGiants. That's where those wonderful people went. $2 a month plus some other tiers. You get to sign up, hang out with us, watch the shows live as we record them. Bobby Skinner will send you some stickers, magnets in the mail. And also, 2 times a month, you are entered into shirt raffles. Patreon.com/TalkingGiants. Thank you.
And if you want to, not lose money and, on Patreon, you want to make money, slide in the stacks of cash this baseball season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. By the way, we were at our warehouse where they played blitzball.
Sure.
I threw the blitzball around a little bit. That thing's fun to throw.
Yeah.
Like Peter Moylan, who's a former MLB pitcher, having trouble throwing that ball. I don't get it because I was like, man, I could throw this ball. You can throw some nice strikes with this ball.
All right, so you're pitcher, I'm hitter. So that's our roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad you said hitter instead of something else.
Fielder.
that works too. Looking to turn a
What were you thinking?
small bet into a big payday during MLB season with DraftKings same-game parlays. We're in a hotel with a camera. You can do just that. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win. How many?
You could do it.
How many bases
You could do
will
it.
be stolen, total runs, and more? It's your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whatever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOHNBOY. Bet just $5 and get $150 in free bets no matter what happens on the field. That's promo code JOHNBOY at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. MLB trademarks used with permission. We have no AC in this freaking room, and it is hot. Like what a horrible hotel. All right, and here's Andrew Thomas. All right, we're live here at MetLife Stadium doing one of our first in-person interview with the player, Andrew Thomas. First question: do you go by Drew or Andrew? Because I see the Drew stuff, but everybody calls you Andrew Thomas.
It depends. My mom calls me Andrew, but a lot of my friends call me Drew.
Okay, yeah. Well, my brother is James, but we call him Jamie. And I was just wondering, I went to a VBS as a kid, and they're like, "What's your name, Robert?" But I go by. No one calls me Robert.
Right.
And so for the rest of the week, everyone was calling me Robert because I froze up and said, said I was Robert.
Sure.
I just dropped an AT. How do you feel about that?
People call me that too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my teammates,
Right on.
some of the coaches too.
So you franchise left tackle for the New York Giants, 4th overall pick. So things are starting to come together with you. But I know as a former offensive lineman, I know it kills Gates. Is like your prize moments catching that touchdown versus Tampa Bay?
Definitely. For sure. I mean, since I was young, I always talked about being a tight end and playing receiver, like all the way back to high school. And none of the coaches believed me, so finally getting a chance to run a play was the best moment.
So you never
Sure.
got like the trick play shot in high school or like a defensive touchdown or anything?
So in high school, we had a play, but we never called it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, my first year playing football, I told my coach, I was like, I can play tight end at the goal line. And he just looked at me like, I bet you shut the hell up and play, worry about offensive line. Here's something you do need to tell this coaching staff is you've caught 2 passes, the 2-pointer versus Dallas and then the touchdown versus Tampa.
Yeah.
Both years, they allowed the media to record you guys catching passes in practice the week before.
Yep.
And I almost thought about saying something when I saw that. I was like, "Man, last time they were catching passes in practice, they ran a pass." And but I kept quiet because I'm a team guy. So that's something you got to like, hey, next time we run that,
No, I remember when they put it on Twitter. I hit up our media guy. I was like, "Hey, they posting like, running the plays and stuff like that." Like, they were like, "Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." I was like, "Okay."
It's something that like if you're an opponent, you don't really think about the offensive lineman's numbers.
Sure.
But I was I live in Florida, so I was at that game. And anytime Parrott or whoever come in, about 74 is eligible, and then before that play, 78's eligible. And I just stood around to everyone in my. I was like, "It's going to Thomas. It's going to Thomas. It's going to Thomas."
Right.
DJ made you work for that throw.
No, he did. Yeah, it was pressure that play. He had some pressure in his face. And usually in practice, he puts it right on my numbers. It's easy, but he threw it up there, had to jump and get it. Once I caught it, though, I was turned.
It made for a better picture. And
That was your Air Jordan moment.
Air Jordan.
Yeah, we got Air Drew
sponsorship.
Yeah, we got to send you the shirts for the Air Drew. I've been meaning to do that. Do you now? Obviously, things didn't go to plan last year, but do you still talk trash to like Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney? Like, remember? Don't forget, I have more touchdowns as a New York Giant than you guys.
Nah, I don't have to say anything. They already know.
We're rubbing in a little bit. So, you want to talk about the rookie year through?
Yeah. So 2020. Obviously, kind of a 2-part season, right? First half, kind of the rookie struggles, and then the second half, it kind of kicks in. So I want to know, was there like an aha moment? Was there a moment where that kind of light bulb kind of came on? Whether it was something technical, something in your mindset, was there like an aha moment that you had to kind of transition that rookie year and turn into the AT that we kind of know you as?
It was kind of around the bye week. That's when I really started to understand my set and stuff like that. Like in the early part of the season, like had an issue of like oversetting. So eager to get outside, and giving up the inside. So just working on that, and then like my hand placement and stuff like that. I'm still working on that now, but I think that was the biggest difference from the early part of the season to the second part.
So obviously I do like the O-line videos, but obviously like that's surface level stuff. But from my point of view, it was, looking at it, and, they were working. It seemed like they were working on a lot of your hand stuff. And then that Tampa game versus JPP and coming off the Eagles game, which was obviously a low moment on prime time, it seemed like you just kind of like, all right, let me get my post foot, make sure they're not killing me. And then it seemed to me like a click, like I'm athletic enough versus all these guys where I can I can cheat a little bit inside, and then these guys aren't going to get around the corner on me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Playing left tackle is like we want you to run around. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't give up the inside, and that was something that I was struggling with, but I understood. The term we use is like lagging, like on the inside of the rusher, just making sure I'm keeping that relationship with him regardless of where he goes, and most of the times the ball going by the time, he gets around the edge.
Right. Yeah, so it was an ascending. Now, this past year, you had a really good year. We don't need to tell you that. But that Patriots preseason game, it was only 12 reps, but obviously there were some struggles. Was there, obviously you got to play cool, calm, and collected, but was there a moment oh my gosh, am I going to have issues in this second year after building on everything? Was there any confidence and
No, I wasn't worried at all. I think I had a pretty solid week of practice when we practiced up there with them. I was dealing with some, other issues like sickness and stuff like that, but I wasn't worried at all. I felt like I had my technique down, you know what I'm saying, and I was ready for the season.
How's the ankle doing, by the way?
It's doing good. Recovery's coming along well. They let me take my time coming back, so I'm appreciating that so far.
So you're working with, a new group and stuff like that. Evan Neal was drafted, and, you could throw it in his face I'm the left tackle. I'm going to get the left tackle money out of me. So was today your first day meeting him, or did you talk with him at all before?
No, this is my first time meeting him. Real good guy, seems like so far. He doesn't talk that much, but I think that he's going to be a great player. He's eager to learn already, already asking questions how, I get the plays down, how I understand them and things like that. So definitely going to look out for him. He could be a great player for us.
Yeah, he seems like kind of like a head down, do my business
for
type
sure.
of guy, similar to the way you are.
Right.
With that, so you were part of a 2020 class with, three other, Makai's been injured, but when Makai's playing, he's good.
Yeah.
Tristan is good. Jedrick is good. Now you're quiet. You're not going to post out, a bunch of stuff. But do you ever have a moment where you want to be like, yeah, all that trash was talked about me 2020 going into this year, and just kind of be like no, watch my game, because obviously the Giants haven't been on, the big moments, because sometimes with offensive linemen, it's you got to be on a great team to really get that notice.
Now, what I've learned is that when you're looking at film, sometimes when the media portrays it, sometimes it's not as bad as you think it is, and vice versa. Sometimes they may praise you and it's not as good. There was some games last year that I might have had a high grade and stuff like that, but there's things on film that I know I need to correct. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to stay as level-headed as possible because you're going to have your ups and downs, but being consistent in your technique, I think that's what takes you to the next level.
Yeah. Do you look at those grades?
No, for sure. Yeah, I definitely look at those grades. I have people that break down my film and stuff outside of the team and stuff like that. They have access to that stuff, and I do look at that as well.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, and the coaches grade you guys every week, right?
And even if you're not going to brag that you're kind of breaking out and you're kind of low key, the best tackle from that class, that's why we're here. So
for sure,
that's why we're here.
Yeah, I'll tweet at Tristan Wirfs hey, play left tackle like Drew, and then we'll start talking.
Then we'll talk.
Who's the closest, the guy you're closest with on the team? And I feel like we probably all know this answer.
Yeah, it's a few guys. Obviously Aziz and Tay, just from the the Georgia connection. But offensive lineman really close with Matt Parrott and Shane.
Yeah. How much I talked with Shane briefly. And I was like, man, it kills me to watch because you guys are rookie year.
Right.
I mean, you guys were moving guys on some of those double teams. You guys are running some more gap stuff, and it was even when you had some issues with your passes, they're moving cats in the run game.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were cursed, though? I think the first 5 weeks of the year you had a different left guard.
Yeah, it was tough, honestly. The biggest thing with the offensive unit is the continuity, and when they're switching that much, it's hard because sometimes you get to a point where you're playing with guys. We don't have to speak. We just understand, how we're going to treat this twist on different double teams and stuff like that. So when it's a new guy, you just have to over-communicate, and that was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I was getting frustrated for you. I was like, man, every single week I'm doing a new segment on the guy playing next to Drew. Some guys weren't even on the roster when the season had started.
Yeah. And something that I think about is the transition between college game to the pro game, where CBA back when they did it in 2011, back when there was a lockout. That's when you started, cutting down on 2-a-days, and you don't have the same kind of interaction with your teammates on the practice field. And I even think off the practice field too, compared to college. So talk about like that transition, especially as an outsider and as a fan. I mean, I can't really feel. I don't know what that impact is like. Like, especially in the offense line, I feel like that continuity and that chemistry is so important. How is that transition going between the college game and the pro game when you have so many different guys kind of coming in and out?
No, it's tough. In college, like when I was at Georgia, like it's football 24/7.
Yeah.
Like we might have a month off, but you're always doing some type of football, staying in shape, all those things, and it's different because we have time away. And then also like how much the league changes. People coming in and out the room, like compared to last year, the room's totally different. Yep. So that's another thing you have to overcome. But I guess the more you grow into the sport, like we just understand that inside zone is inside zone, regardless of what you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like people just have a general understanding the more years you play, and I think it takes less time to build it when you have older guys.
Yeah. Going back to Aziz, you were obviously at his draft party. I'm sure he was hoping, but expecting to go in the first. Were you there that first night with him, or did you come on the second night?
I was there both nights. We expected him to go to first round, you know what I'm saying? But the knee injury or whatever, I guess it came out later or something like that, and he dropped down. Didn't expect it, but when he went to the second round, I had a feeling, that we were going to pick him, and I was excited for sure.
I mean, there was buzz about him. If when they were on the clock at 20, if you
exactly.
said like who do you think the Giants are going to draft, I was going to say Aziz. He fit what Patrick Graham and Judge were doing.
Yeah.
And then when he was there at 50, it's like, okay, if this isn't the pick, like I'm going to be blown away.
For sure.
Oh, this is something we asked you before. Is this the strangest place you've been interviewed?
Yes.
Definitely the strangest place.
In the first interview with a guy bigger than you recorded?
Actually, for sure, yeah.
There was a guy before you came onto the team, Tay Davis, a linebacker, and I lived down by Orlando, and he was there for the Pro Bowl. And we had talked before, and I was like, all right, let's do an interview.
All right.
And we did it in a car, smaller than that car back there. And it was pouring. It was the year the Pro Bowl was like pouring down rain. I got to find the clip of it, but it's like 50 degree, like pouring down rain and squeezing in the back of a car.
And you're like leaning into him. hey, Tay Davis.
Right. I know he was like, I can't believe I agreed to do this.
You're a fashion guy. I think, I've been, part of being a good interviewer is kind of stalking the IG.
Right.
And I did that this morning. And I saw an evolution before you got drafted and then after you got drafted. And the fits and the drip game, as I think they call it, the drip game is quite unique. So here's my question to you. As you can see, I'm wearing like these cargo shorts. Bobby, 75% of the time we record, wears like neon green.
My work shirts, like Dickie's work shirts.
So talk to me about your approach fashion wise, and especially as us bigger guys. How can I upgrade my game a little bit?
So honestly, it's tough trying to find stuff that fits the right way.
It's brutal.
It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the times in the pants, like my waist is small, but like my legs are bigger, so I have to get the bigger size pants. Like I can put them on, like take them on and off without unbuckling them like crazy. But for me, I just try to keep my style simple, but it still pop a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Most of the times, some type of jeans, some pants, and then a nice colored shirt, and then the shoe game. That's the easiest to find. You know what I'm saying? They'll have my size and stuff like that. So whether it's Jordans or designer, like just trying to get something that looks nice.
Yeah.
What size shoe are you?
So it depends on what I'm wearing. Sometimes 15, sometimes 14.
Okay. Yeah, the shoes are the biggest thing for me. One,
we went to a bowling alley yesterday. And did you ask for 16?
Yeah, 16. I don't got the first round pick money. So it's when I get a pair of shoes, I'm like, these shoes got to fit me right. I'm gonna wear these. So when I get a pair, I wear them until the tread falls off of them.
But speaking of shoes, black cement, white cement, Air Jordan 3s, Dabes. 1 to 10. Give a score.
No, that's like an 8.
It's an 8?
Daves, he comes in with a little bit of shoe game. It surprised me a little bit, so we'll see how that goes.
How is he so far? Like, obviously, you're not going to, like, I hate him, but, how's the vibe with him so far?
No, he's got good energy. I like that about him so far. Every day he has the same energy. I think he has a little bit of ADD. Like, he's just so excited trying to, quiz us all the time just to make sure we're getting the plays down and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes.
We heard he's a big FaceTime guy.
He is a FaceTime guy. He don't care where he's at. He'll FaceTime you. Don't even want anything. He'll just call you like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing.
I'm the same way, man. People are like, stop FaceTime. It's like, no, I want to see. I want to see your face when I talk to you.
Here's something quick. When's your birthday?
January 22nd.
When's your birthday?
January 22nd.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Wow.
Oh man. next year we'll do some type of joint birthday party. Because we have our social media people like post their birthdays, and then January. I was like, okay, the guy I was like advocating for banging on the table 2020 January 22nd. So
it's pretty cool.
We'll do something next year. You could pay the bill on whatever birthday deal we do.
All right, I got like one good more. I want to go back to football. Mm-hmm. Is there something concretely that you're looking at your game, this camp, especially, hey, you're going to be going up against Kayvon, you're going to be going up against Z's, kind of excited. I hope they open up training camp because that'd be really, really cool to see this year. But is there one thing that you're kind of concretely looking at your game saying, I want to upgrade that?
I would say independent hands in the pass game. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I use a two-hand strike, and it works sometimes, but against certain rushers, you can get caught off guard, doing that consistently. So just working at independent hand usage and stuff like that, like different flash, different techniques, and just trying to take my game to another level.
Mm-hmm. Who was the toughest guy you went against this past year?
This past year? I'm trying to think. I actually like Barnett from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, I think he slept on a little bit, but, like, his skill set doesn't go well with mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm better with, like, more elusive guys trying to run around the edge, but he's, like, a shorter, stockier guy with good power and stuff like that. So he was somebody that I like going against this year.
Going back to your rookie season, you were training to play right tackle, right? And then Nate opted out last second. Like, did that was that kind of like mess with your head at all? Like, I've been getting ready to play right.
Not really. When I was training, I was cross training. I was doing both because I really didn't know what I would be playing. And then, with COVID and everything, we didn't get to have like OTAs and rookie minicamp and all that stuff like that. So I was just training both because I didn't know, where they would put me at.
We talked with your guy Keenan Forney that year, and we were trying to pull it out because I was like, play him at left day one. Don't mess around. Play him at left. Play him at left day one, and we couldn't get it out of Keenan. And then obviously Nate kind of forced their hand when he opted out. Are you still like polished up on the piano game?
I play every now and then.
Yeah.
When I'm bored, if I'm not doing nothing, I'll go downstairs and play a little bit.
How much like for like a an appearance fee for a wedding? Like
that was going to be one of my last things. It's can I bank on you when if one of us is going to get married eventually? Can we bank on you to play a little piano?
For my skill level, it'll probably be free.
Okay.
All right, that's on camera. What you got to do is you got to get with Kadarius and let me work on an instrumental for for Warrior 4, Warrior 5, whichever one comes out.
I need to.
Kadarius, we're big Kadarius fans. Do you guys like in the locker room talk about his media appearances? Because those are like a different entertainment level. It's just like he just laughs at him, and we have fun with it every single week.
No, we really don't talk about it that much, but you see it on social media. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he cracks me up, man. He's like one of my favorite guys on the team.
Okay, New Jerseyisms. Are you from Jersey?
I'm not.
You're not.
No, did you stay in Jersey?
Oh, do I stay? Oh, yeah.
So, give us a little something, because people that are from New Jersey, a lot of Giants fans from Jersey, people love whether it's like pizza, the Taylor ham versus pork roll debate, something. Like, what is something about New Jersey that you absolutely love?
I'd probably say how close it is to the city.
Okay.
I can get to the city, anytime I want. It's not hard. So I'm in Fort Lee, so right by the bridge. Yeah, so anytime I want to get to the city, I do like that.
Right on.
See, I'm the opposite way. Our office is right on. I can't say where our office is on camera.
It's in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's smack dab in the middle. We were there for the draft, man. I couldn't wait to get back home down to Florida. So we'll finish it off with this. And, we don't – what do we have to give you? A bunch of T-shirts? We did it with Nick Gates last year. What do we got to do to get a Talking Giants versus the World tweet? That's our slogan. Gates did it last year. It's the biggest social media post Gates ever did. I hate asking you guys for things, but what do we got to work on? Air Drew shirts for the family? Or what are we looking at? What's the price for that?
I think the Air Drew shirts would be pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
We can do that.
Give us shirts and sizes for the whole family, which I think might be our best shirt. DJ's is pretty cool too. That catch was, by the way, was just insane. He's a psychopath the way
he's
he
kind
plays,
of a warrior, man.
He is.
Like even before when you were here in 2019, man, it was just like he would just go head up the linebackers and watch it
slide. Like, it's crazy.
That reminds me. This is my last question. I love like seeing the connections. Deion Jackson was your high school teammate, and then Daniel Jones at Duke. I was hoping they would have picked him up because that would have been cool.
Full circle.
Is he still? I know he was with the Colts in preseason last year. Is he still like on the roster with them now?
He's still there. He's doing well. I know he got some burn at like special teams and stuff like that.
Okay,
coaches like him, so I'm happy for him.
He's fast, a good receiving back. Sure. I was really hoping to get that connection.
He could play. Yeah.
But I'm rooting for him. I keep trying to find all those Duke connections with those guys. How the biggest, and I guess we're not finishing yet.
Wow, liar.
Is the worst thing about Gettleman not being here is that you don't get a guaranteed teammate every single year from Georgia.
That sucks, man.
I was hoping you get Salyer. I know that's your boy.
That was my guy. I was hoping for him, but I mean, what was it, 15 picks this year? I was like, that's crazy. We didn't get one of them.
I know, and the best year ever for Georgia players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. It's Georgia, man. It was insane watching that defense, and it's like just dog, every single one, man.
For sure.
How many out of 10 reps? How many does Aziz get on you?
Back when we were at Georgia,
every time I seen clips from training camp, it was like, all right, Drew's got him.
At Georgia, I didn't lose a lot. That's just how it was. And Aziz obviously got better when I left, went to the league. He had got better, but when I was at Georgia, I didn't lose much.
Yeah.
He bulked up, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we could say it.
I don't know how much you paid. And this, all right, this is my last.
Right,
this is my 10th last question. I got so frustrated. I was like banging on the table, like offensive tackle 1, and some of the talking points around you were so weird. Like they're like, oh, he's the most pro ready, which isn't a bad thing. But I was like, I feel like they just looked at your production in the SEC and like, oh, pro ready. It's like, no, he's got like a lot of room to grow and that production. And that's why I was banging on the table for you. He's like, some guy may be more polished. Mekhi.
Right.
Have you watched Mekhi play in the NFL at all?
I watch a little bit of. I haven't seen much.
I've never seen a guy throw NFL players around like him. I'm hoping
that big and he could move that well.
I've never seen anything like it before. I'm hoping he gets healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Tristan's obviously been really good. It's a good class. But did you ever just be like, well, I don't know where these like talking points are coming from for the draft?
No, that stuff was crazy. Like some things will have me super high. Some things have me low, and I'm just like I can't control any of this. So I'll just keep working.
Yeah. Did you? The New York market, because I mean it was raining down on you, and it was like, and those other guys kind of like you. The Steelers game, you played well, even though for some reason some people like Dupree on the backside. It's like, well, that was on. At least I thought it was on purpose. They were leaving the backside and block. It's not like you were just like run past. People were blaming me for that, but it seemed like that Tampa game versus JPP, it kind of all started to clicking together. But man, we're proud of you. It's
man.
It's been really good. This past year was not a lot of fun to watch the Giants, but watching you every single week do work. I'm still mad that Quinn got that sack on you because he was going for the record. He was dipping the edge every time.
Not playing the run at all. I was like,
not even a second.
Not even. Yeah.
I've never seen a guy just like dipping the edge. I'm like,
right.
I was like, dang. I was like, he's killing him, but he's gonna get him one time. And but it was all good. Andrew, appreciate you coming on, man. It's a pleasure, and good luck this these OTAs in this next season, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for having me.
No doubt.
All right, thank you to Andrew Thomas for coming on the show. That was quite an awesome interview. Really, really fun time we had with him in a van. Always going to remember that. So, before we talk about some like UDFA signings,
Ryder Anderson, Jordan Mosley.
We got to talk about Roman. When the moment for intimacy arrives, you need to be ready. You got to be Roman ready. Whether you've been in a relationship for years or you're just getting started, having the confidence that comes from preparation means you're free to enjoy the moment when the moment comes. I guess no pun intended. Even though you are far from ordinary, and so are we on this couch, the truth is that ED is really common. In fact, 52% of guys aged 40 to 70 experience some form of erectile dysfunction. So go to GetRoman.com/world. Talking Giants versus the world. Now to speak to a U.S. licensed healthcare professional about erectile dysfunction to get $15 off your first month of treatment. I love how Roman is discreet. I guess you shouldn't have any embarrassment with ED. It's like I said, like half of men 40 to 70 kind of experience it. But if you don't want everybody knowing, if you don't want the whole neighborhood, if you don't want your postman, your Amazon guy knowing that you got some issues, it comes in discreet packaging. U.S. licensed healthcare professional. They're going to help you get it right, and they're going to help you get Roman ready. So go to GetRoman.com/world today, and if you're prescribed, get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have the confidence and control this summer. Be Roman ready.
All right, Justin, let's do a little bit of rookie camp roundup, and then I guess OTAs. They started OTAs, but
Yeah.
PD wasn't there. There's a couple stuff
Fun.
from the Giants press clippings. First, just some notes from Dan Salomon's article. You know, he covers the Giants for the Giants. Saquon, 2 touchdowns receiving in the red zone. Obviously, none of this stuff that we're going to talk about read into too much, but like it has been kind of stated over and over again so far with this coaching staff is that they're going to really try and involve Saquon in the receiving game, which the last coaching staff didn't involve him very much at all.
No.
The last coaching staff's involvement of him in the receiving game was splitting him out wide, and then you have the Saints touchdown, the Chargers touchdown, and then Shermer would put him out of the backfield and would almost never put him out wide. So I really think they're going to try and move him around.
Yeah, there's a middle ground between what they did in 2018, when it be with him getting like 90 catches, right? And then what they tried to do last year with just splitting him out wide, and then he had some of the plays in the Saints game, right? I feel like there's a middle ground between the two. And I feel, utilizing the running back, utilizing Saquon Barkley in the intermediate part of the field as a receiving option, even just as a check down guy. Now, that's also with Daniel Jones too, where he needs to train himself to look at the sideline for his checkdowns, right, instead of just the middle of the field. So if you're going to have Saquon Barkley as like this check down option and he's getting more receptions, that needs to be part of the offense because there's not enough easy plays. We talked about that with Wan'Dale Robinson. So Saquon Barkley should be involved in the receiving game more as this check down option, whether he's out of the backfield, running more routes out of the backfield, and then also lined up out wide as well.
Yusuf Corker, the UDFA safety out of Kentucky, the one we really liked a lot.
Yeah.
He had the only interception of the first day of OTAs, which interceptions in OTAs is a pretty good thing, because it's very much set up for the offense when you're not in pads or anything. And again, anything we say in this part of the episode, don't read in too much, but there's 3 safeties who are guaranteed roster spots with McKinney, Love, and Belton.
Yep.
So there's one wide open, and after one day being with the full team, Corker definitely has the edge over Trenton Thompson or Jordan Mosley, like making plays like this. This is how you kind of get yourself noticed. How it's week 1. It's like, all right, maybe we could give him some box reps. It's making these type of plays in camp, and that's how. This was how Darius Slayton got some run early on. Because remember he was injured during most of camp, but rookie camp, OTAs, like he did really well in those.
Yep.
Had a good connection with Daniel Jones. Missed the first 2 weeks of the season with injury, but because they kind of saw some of what they liked out of him, they were able to throw him on the field that week 3 game versus Tampa, and he had 3 catches for 75 yards or whatever it was, and then became a starter after that.
Yeah, and all you heard in 2019 throughout that camp, throughout that OTA rookie mini camp, whatever, is you heard just Pat Shurmur saying Darius Slayton, Darius Slayton, Darius Slayton. So keep an eye out. One of the things I'm going to be listening for when Brian Dable kind of speaks is what name is he saying often? What name is just repeating over and over and over again? We didn't have that opportunity yet, but Yusuf Corker getting an interception day 1, kind of fun.
And then Daniel Bellinger had the catch of the day. I don't know if it was from Daniel Jones. It wasn't said, but if it was, we got some tight window throw. I love Daniel Bellinger. I'm hoping he gets he gets that pass to tight end 1.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not throwing him at tight end 1 reps right off rip with the team, but hopefully he does get there.
Best case scenario. Yeah.
All right. Now we got 2 new UDFAs who were signed from the rookie minicamp. By the way, they fielded like 85 rookies. Not all rookies. Some guys are vet exemptions and then some vet tryouts. But they had last year they had 6 rookie camp tryouts with 6 draft picks and then 5 they had 16 guys there. This year they had 84 guys on the field part of their rookie camp. It was insane to see the numbers of the people they had out there.
I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, 84 because you have the 5 vet tryouts. Garrett Dieter was one of those, a guy that was with the Chiefs.
11 draft picks.
11 draft picks.
How many UDFAs? 15.
At the time, 14 because Truesdale failed a physical, so he wasn't part of the team, and then just a ton of rookie camp invites.
Oh my gosh.
All right, but 2 guys stood out enough to get signed to the 90-man roster, and we'll start of that with I guess we'll talk about the safety spot because that's the best path, and that's Jordan Mosley, the safety out of Maryland, 6 foot, 201 pounds. At his pro day, ran a 4.7 40, 34-inch vertical jump. So bad 40 time, but his change of direction, like 3-cone drill and shuttle stuff, wasn't bad. Played a lot of reps for Maryland over the last few years, 83 tackles this past season, 7 passes deflected. And again, a lot like Trenton Thompson, a little like Yusuf Corker, like Dane Belton, they really value safety versatility, and that's what Jordan Mosley is. He's versatile. They lined him up all over. I think he's a pretty smart player. Like, he ID'd things well, especially when he was playing from deep. And, Nick Cross was a safety out of Maryland that we talked about, who, the Colts drafted. Very fun, very athletic, but he didn't know how to ID things. He would take risks that didn't make sense. And he needed to learn how to play the safety position. Like, Jordan Mosley was kind of a better safety at Maryland than Nick Cross. Now, obviously, you draft Nick Cross, and Jordan Mosley's a UDFA for a reason. But he did ID things well, coming down from the under, from deep, coming down on the under concepts, knowing when to, play the deep half. When they did put him down, like, towards the line of scrimmage, he played a lot of man coverage. And
a lot of off-man against tight ends, right?
Yeah, playing versus tight. And he looked pretty decent on it. It wasn't great, but, like, he was on the hip. There was some slant routes. There was, like, against Michigan, had a really nice pass deflection on a tight end on a slant, just ate it up. And then in the box, like, decent at taking on blocks. There was some bad reps I saw, but for the most part, he was good at taking on blocks, slipping underneath them. And when he's lined up in the box, he's not slamming the gaps going crazy, but he's also not passive. Now, to the negative things, his footwork in transition takes just too many steps. There's not bursts out of his back pedal, and he just needs some footwork, refinement. Plus, he just, the 4.740 is a real thing.
Yeah, that straight line speed is probably like his worst quality.
Yeah, like, he doesn't burst out of the back pedal. He lacks range, so if you're playing him deep, he's going to lack that range. And it's like, how good is he down the box? How good is he going to be able to translate the man coverage to tight ends in the NFL? But I thought he did an all right job moving forward well after, having that initial not great startup out of the back pedal. And again, maybe has like a 20% missed tackle rate, but in the games I watched, he was a really solid tackler for them.
Yeah, I didn't see any numbers about missed tackle rate, but I thought he was a sound tackler. Off ball man coverage against tight ends, kind of coming down if he's not playing that deep safety. Those are the main notes that I had, and then the bad straight line speed.
Yeah, so Yusuf Corker, Trenton Thompson from San Diego State, Jordan Mosley. There's essentially 2 safety spots open because I could see them carrying 5 safeties.
I could see them carrying 5 too, yeah.
Especially with the lack of corner back depth. So they should all have a good chance to at least make the practice squad, but there's a good chance 2 of them make the roster. Now, I do lean Corker and Mosley, or Corker and Thompson out of San Diego State.
Yeah.
But again, they didn't sign this guy out of rookie camp for no reason. There's 4. We have 2 starters and then 4 rookies behind them right now. Yep. And I think all 3 of those guys are going to get just as good as a shot. Like, I don't think the fact that they signed Corker or Thompson before him if he plays better, like, he may not have the same athleticism, but he IDs things well. Like, he IDs things better than Yusuf Corker does.
Yep.
I think I like Thompson a lot better than him, and neither him or Thompson don't have like that great trait that Corker has, when he's playing in the box. So I don't think he makes the roster, but this is a spot where you have every opportunity to make the roster, that safety position.
Yeah, I agree.
So our rankings are still Corker, Thompson, Mosley, right?
Yep, I agree. Yep.
All right. The other one they signed, Ryder Anderson, defensive end out of Indiana, worked with Micah McFadden. Mm-hmm. By the way, they worked together on some stunts, and McFadden did a good job setting him up. There was one sack that he got that was really, I think it was against Michigan, where Ryder Anderson got the sack. But he was a transfer from Ole Miss. Like, he played from Ole Miss from 2017 to 20, and then was I think a grad transfer to Indiana. Put up some decent numbers. I had 47 tackles this past year, 2.5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss, and kind of had that same exact production the year before at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they kind of were like going to give up his spot at that point, because they weren't giving those 5th-year guys that took the extra year because of COVID. What I got on him is not great get off, but he is like a solid athlete. Like, he played end, like defensive, like he played edge in college. But for him, I see him with that body size, with not having a good get off of the line of scrimmage.
Not a lot of burst, yeah.
Moving to that like 4-5 technique, playing inside or directly outside the tackles, inside the tackle shoulder on passing downs, and on non-passing downs, playing that outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. Like he's best in attacking inside that inside shoulder. Like he can take advantage of a guy who may not have like that great upper body strength that he can push the gate. He's got long arms, and when he does strike well, he's able to really extend and push the gate open inside those offensive linemen. But he does need to be more consistent with his strike. And he can. There's times where I saw him push the pocket back, but he just has slow feet. Like he doesn't have that rapid feet to dominate a rep when he gets a guy on skates. Does set a good he's a good run player. I think because of the position he plays, he probably doesn't have a great chance at making this roster, Justin.
Yeah.
But he's got a decent frame, and a position change might do some good for him. Moving more towards the inside. But just the get off of the line of scrimmage is bad, and it's very noticeable. It's the first thing you notice when you watch him.
Yeah, and I feel like he kind of wants to be, and you saw this out on the edge. He kind of wants to be this speed rusher, but he's not.
Yeah.
And on the inside, you don't have the space to do that. You have to kind of use your arm length. You have to use your power. You have to generate the power, from your legs and stuff like that. So I think he can be a pretty solid if he focuses on the extension, the long arms, and the power generating that from the legs and kind of, bull rushing guys. So, if he can do that more on the inside, then, hey, he may make some plays in camp, preseason. Let's go.
Yeah, so we're calling him a defensive lineman. A lot of their UDFAs now are defensive linemen. Obviously, Tyron Truesdell. I think that might have had something to do with it, is Truesdell not passing his physical. It's like, okay, we'd like to get another D lineman in here for camp. At the end of the day, that's probably what he is at the end of the day, is a camp body. So that helped. But they also are all different types. Antonio Valentino's different than him. Jabari Ellis is different than from what he does. And then who's the other defensive tackle? I can't believe I'm not thinking of it right now.
Hinton?
Chris Hinton, Michigan, the one we like. Yeah. See, I'm already freaking slacking on these UDFAs. So I don't think he's going to make the roster, but
I don't think so.
UDFA, we wanted to talk about him.
Yeah, got to talk about him.
Any other rookie roundup stuff from camp? I mean, there's really nothing that came out of it. Even like
I watched
Dable's pressers didn't really give them anything to talk about. There was nothing that was really big coming out of it, which is not obviously it's fine.
If you want a fun maybe 15, 13-minute break from work, the game that I watched at Ryder Anderson was Indiana versus Penn State. Our friend Do a Barrel Roll uploaded that game. Indiana defense, Penn State offense. He uploaded that game to YouTube. Look that up. Watch that if you want a good 13-minute break from work. And you will see Micah McFadden making like 15 awesome plays that game.
McFadden is a fun player, and he's a pretty personable dude. Like, he was like saying, like, he was like, yeah, I didn't really play football, till junior year. And they're like, why didn't you play? He's like, oh, no, I did play. I just sucked. He's like, I wasn't good. He's like, they moved me to defensive end, and then I became good. And he's like, it's, learning the defense is like, drinking from a fire hose. So he's a pretty personable.
When did he play defensive end? Did he say? Do you know?
In high school.
All right, because that kind of.
He was talking about junior year of high school.
That kind of makes sense, right? Kind of knowing that he can rush the passer a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, he doesn't have the size to be like an NFL pass rusher from the edge, or with his hand in the dirt. But he is a really good pass rusher. Like, we watched a lot of linebackers in this draft prep, and it's like he was definitely the most fun pass rusher out of all of them.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily say the best because I don't know if the strength is going to translate, and that's really what it's more down to. You're not going to make fools of guys, a ton of NFL starters, but he had some. I think some of it will translate well, and they liked him more than Beavers. They drafted him ahead of Beavers, obviously. So right now, realistically, even give Tate Crowder the benefit of the doubt. He's the first linebacker off the bench right now after Tate Crowder.
Yeah. So watch that Penn State game.
All right, Justin, do we got anything else before we close this out?
No. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. It's episodes like these and it's days like these where we know that we got we may not have the world on our side,
Talking
but
Giants versus the world.
But all you who kind of follow us, who like what we do, we like you a lot, and we really appreciate you. Especially days like today. because it's going to be a day that I'm going to remember because it's like a first for us. So.
Yeah, definitely was very cool, and
yeah,
hopefully it'll open the door for us to do some more stuff like that. And now that we got that freaking van too, I love that van. All right, Justin, I'll see you in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
May 27th, come on out. We'll
Charlotte
see you
Motor
guys
Speedway.
at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Come on out. Have a good time with us. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Friday. I don't know what we're doing for Friday. We might have another interview because I don't know if any news is going to pop up, and we did a mailbag. So we might have another interview for you on Friday. A very usual, we've done it every year, post-draft interview.
We're not going to shock you again.
Yeah.
Don't expect that every time.
We told our Patreon, it's like we got something so cool coming for you next week, but we can't say it until
somebody guessed it.
And someone was like, "It's Andrew Thomas," and I was like, "Nope."
No.
I was like, we want to do that, but it's not Andrew Thomas. But it was Andrew Thomas. So go show Andrew Thomas some love. Like tweet at him, like loved you on Talking Giants.
Yes,
we've
please.
already, the reaction to the tweets have already done a lot of that, but good stuff. All right, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Friday. Until then, let's go Big Blue.